All right, so we are gonna make the corn in the microwave with the deep covered baker. So I've got my corn shucked and ready to go. I put the corn cob holders in because they are microwave safe. And then you're gonna add about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of water. Cover that up. So then you pop the deep covered baker into the microwave and you're gonna set it for 10 minutes. So while the corn's in the microwave, we're gonna prep our pepper with our pepper core. And we're gonna dice this one. So I got a little carried away there, but you know, sometimes I'm so strong I can't even help it. Scrape out all that inside white parts that we don't need. And then we're just gonna dice this. And we actually want a pretty fine dice on it, so you can see I'm making the strips really thin, which will make that dice nice and easy when I cut the other way. Nice fine dice. So heat up just a little bit of oil in a pan. I'm using olive oil, but you can use what you'd like. And then I'm just gonna cook down my diced red pepper until that gets soft. All right, and then we're gonna take the fine side of our grater and grate up some cojita cheese. You need about 2 ounces. Of course, I don't measure cheese. I measure cheese with my heart. So, you know, whatever this is what I'm going to use. However much this is, it looks good. And you can always benefit from more cheese. All right, once the corn starts cooling, once the corn is kind of cooled off, you're gonna take your kerneler and you are just going to scrape those kernels off into a bowl. You can do 4 to 6 of these cobs. I did 3, but you can sort of adjust this portion of the recipe for the size of your dish. Next, we're just going to take 2 green onions and just slice those up really fine. If your family is anything like mine, you might even throw in another green onion because we tend to really like a lot of onion in our food. But hey, measure with your heart and make this the way you like it. That's the best way to enjoy any recipe, is how your family likes it. Okay, so I've got all of my corn and I have 1/4 of a cup of mayo, which, as it turns out, is the same thing as 4 tablespoons. So I use the mini all cup. I'm going to take those green onions, pop those in, and then I'm going to grab my red peppers that I had softened up and pop those in. And then I'm gonna top all of that with the Pampered Chef Street Corn Seasoning Mix. So I'm gonna take a tablespoon of that. Now the recipe says you can use either the Street Corn Seasoning Mix or the Creamy Jalapeno Seasoning Mix. So what I'm gonna do is I am going to split the difference. I'm going to do the Street Corn Mix with my corn, and then I'm gonna use the Creamy Jalapeno dip for the chicken so that we get both flavors in there, because they both really do have just such great flavor to bring to your food. Mix that up real nice and then set that aside. Once you've got that mixed in pretty well, you're also gonna pop in that cheese. I like to put that in last because the cheese is kind of soft, so you don't wanna mix it in as much to get the mayo to spread, but you just pop that in, and there we go. Look at how good that looks. So you place your chicken on your cut and seal, and you can see that it has that nice little spring action to it. So when you just kind of press down lightly, not too hard, it holds the chicken in place perfectly and kind of protects you from the knife, but it allows you to cut the chicken into halves perfectly even. All right, recipe says to season both sides of your chicken with the creamy jalapeno dip mix. So what I'm actually gonna do, because I like to keep as much of those delicious seasonings that you're using in the pan as possible. So what I'm gonna do, you can see I've already got the pan preheated. I'm putting half of a tablespoon on the bottom. And then I'm gonna add my chicken to the pan. So now the bottom is all seasoned. Oh my, got a little extra there. I'll turn it down a little bit. Make a little bit of room. Pop that right there. And then I'm going to put another half a tablespoon on the top so that both sides get that delicious creamy jalapeno flavor to them. Oh, got a little chunk there. Let's break that up. Spread him around a little bit. And then you're just going to cook the chicken till done. All right, once your chicken is done, should look nice and toasted. You're just gonna plate this. I throw a chicken breast on, and then covering it with a little bit of that street corn, and then you've got a delicious dinner for your family.